I don't care what kind of YouTube channel you have, following trends, no matter what your niche, is going to help every single time, especially if you do it right, especially if you get in on a trend early enough. We're going to be showing you today a tool that we have that can help you do just that. And we're going to be explaining some of our best tips for finding trends. And of course, we're going to be taking your questions as well because this is a live stream. And I'm only saying that because, of course, the people who are live here now know it's a live stream, but a number of you are watching this after the fact. Hello to you. Thank you for being here. Be sure to subscribe, turn notifications so you can have your questions answered the next time we do one of these. But either way, stick around, and I'm sure it'll be of value to you, even if you are watching this after the fact. And to those of you who are here live, thank you so much. Let's bring in Mr. Viper helping out today. How's it going?
Going good, man. How you doing?
I am fantastic. I'm doing good.
We're here.
That's it. That's the show. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for watching. Bye-bye, everybody.
So trends, obviously, we're always talking about it. It's a whole thing on YouTube, but I would say the thing people struggle with the most, and maybe you would agree, is how do you know when the time is to jump on something? How do you know when something is trending? How do you know if something's going to be a trend? And when you just ask that question out into the world, that's not easy to answer because anything could happen. Will Smith could jump on stage at the Oscars and slap Chris Rock. How do you predict that? How do you get ready for that as a content creator? And the key here is to focus in, as always, to find a focus for your YouTube channel. And once you do that, things start to come together. So again, we're sharing tips, we're sharing best practices, but Viper, why don't we get into the actual meat and potatoes here and start showing off the tool?
Let's do that because it's a cool tool.
Yes, it is the Trend Alerts tool. Now, before I get into this, I should let you know that if you are a new vidIQ customer, if you're someone who has never downloaded our software before, there's actually a link in the description for a 30-day free trial. So you will get our entire suite of tools. Try it before you buy it. A number of these features you're going to see today are free. They're part of the free plan, but we have a lot more access if you end up checking out our Boost plan. So you'll have access to everything if you try out that link down below. And once you install vidIQ into your Chrome or Firefox browser and authenticate your channel, it'll unlock all the things such as trend alerts. So this is one of many of our tools, and it's one we talked about actually on this live stream in the past, but not in quite some time. And it works in a couple of different fun ways. So I'm going to show you, just kind of break down the steps. And Viper, feel free to chime in here at any point. Maybe you can help me out with some of the keywords in the next window there. But the first thing I should let everybody know is that in the alert name box, you can call this whatever you want. And we already have some set up here. We have what is that? Greater than 5K on Minecraft. Mm-hmm. And then when you click that, what we're looking at is the view per hour threshold of 5K in the keyword Minecraft. Categories gaming, and then you'll notice email frequency and stuff, and we'll get into that. But basically, we are asking our Trend Alerts tool, please email us every 2 days when something takes off and is getting over 5,000 views per hour and related to the keyword Minecraft. So I Trapped the Ender Dragon in Minecraft Hardcore is currently getting almost 80,000 views per hour. And that is one of our saved alerts. We saved that. And if we go back, which I went too far back. I have a habit. I have the back button on the side of my mouse. And so and every time I say the word back in my brain, it clicks that button, which can be very inconvenient. So you can call this alert whatever you want. And the reason I like that one is because it's very specific, because we could make a less than 5K Minecraft one, for example. And there are situations where you'd want to do that. So Viper, imagine your channel for a minute. What is a trend alert that you might want to set up?
I think in the past I set up one for iPhone, the whatever iPhone is out at the time. Right now it'd be the iPhone 13. So it might be something to do with the iPhone 13 or maybe the upcoming Apple Watch Series 8 or something like that. So it'll be something along those lines.
Let me just double check here. Commas do work. Okay. So iPhone 13, Apple Watch. Maybe, do you think people would just type 8? Would that be like a common way to?
Maybe.
Yeah. Because this is another tip for everybody here. If you're wondering about that, the question I just asked, like, would I type Series 8? get out of the trend alerts tool for a minute and literally type Apple Watch and see how the searches are auto completing. So if you see Series 7, Series 6, Series 3, Series 8, you're already getting an idea that, oh, okay, people literally do type out the word series. I would argue that you might not need to do that because it's kind of irrelevant if there's only one type of Apple Watch. But I digress. So that is perfectly valid then. So we'll do iPhone 13, Apple Watch Series 8. So what you're describing basically is you're somebody who's looking for trends related to Apple.
Mm-hmm.
So
Correct.
what you might call this, and you can name it whatever you want, but just for when you start to get a lot of these, you start to see, we already have one for iPhone 13, in fact. You could do, let's see, mobile Apple products 2022, right? Just to remind you what year you were creating this trend alert. And then you can even go into the categories, which for me right now aren't populating the right way. That might just be because of my computer. I've been getting a lot of weird problems like this outside of our tool. Let's see. So technology. You know what? Let's skip it because I can't see them. And then if you had filled out your competitors list, which is another tool that we have, you could specifically check the different competitors in your competitors list and only get alerts based on what they're doing. So this is that customizable. So we even have one called competitor alerts. We're not going to do that because we want to see the whole of YouTube. What do you think, Viper? What view per hour threshold? You want to get an alert when it has how many views per hour, this video?
Ooh, probably. I would probably want to get an alert. Probably around what you just said. Probably around 5,000 views an hour.
5,000 views an hour. And you can then set the email frequency. So this tool will automatically email you. We don't need to go into email to actually see this in action, just so everyone's aware. You can literally get an email every day, every 2 days. I'll just click that. And then when you go ahead and hit create alert, it is warning us there won't be any matches for this alert. Try lowering the view per hour threshold. So because nothing at the moment is getting 5,000 views per hour, we can lower that threshold just to see. And it's telling us right now, there's a preview of one result. There's a video. It says big Apple news, iPhone 14, Apple Watch 8. Oh, SE2. Okay. So this is interesting, getting almost 3,000 views per hour. So now, before I even created the alert, I have info here. You don't even ever have to create the alert to use this tool. Was kind of the point. What if we, instead of 13, put in iPhone 14?
Yeah, that's probably a better option anyway. Yep.
And now we're starting to see other things here. iPhone 14 is here, most advanced Pro iPhone. So this one's getting over 5,000 views per hour right now. And then, like, out of these two, Viper, is anything? This is not. I'm sad to even say this because it's not a lot jumping out right now. Obviously, there's only two results. I want to try to get one of these search terms. Let's just start simple. Let's literally type in iPhone. There we go. Okay. So if I scroll through here, what are you seeing that as a creator who focuses on Apple? What's exciting you here?
It's all kind of all over the place because they're talking about iPhone 13, they're talking about iPhone 14, they're talking about the iPhone SE. There were Apple News. Yeah. I
You know,
think.
it's
Yeah,
interesting that
yeah.
the specs video. So it's 3,000 views per hour. There's a lot of like different phones from like India and places like that, but it looks like they're comparing all
Mhm.
these different phones and getting
Yep.
3,000 views per hour.
Yeah.
And then I did see this image circulating online. It's basically someone leaked the new cases essentially
Yeah.
for the upcoming iPhones, and now everyone's freaking out. Like, oh my gosh, we know the design of the iPhone 14.
Yeah, it looks like the iPhone 13.
So, you know what's interesting is that this is from later clips. They're approaching 1 million subscribers, so rather large channel, which would explain the high view per hour count. However, the video is still from 2 days ago, and you're talking about 3,000 views per hour. So, if I'm you, like now I'm thinking maybe I talk about this, on my channel, give my take. You know, is it a real leak? First of all, because sometimes things get leaked and it's totally not real. Or what can how different are these from what we already have in the iPhone 13? There's a lot you can even think about there.
Yeah, absolutely. This tool is pretty cool because, like you see here, it it gives you a listing of a bunch of videos, and you can check and see which topics are resonating with the audience, what the view per hours are, see if you see any patterns and different things like that. And then, like you said, Dan, you can go and try to make content inspired by what we see here. So, and the other thing, like Dan said, that you don't even have to like go to the email to use the tool. If you just go here and use it, the information will populate inside the tool itself. So you don't really necessarily have to check your email per se. Just use the tool.
Right. It is awesome because it is the trend alerts tool. You're going to get an alert when you set this up. I see some of you are asking questions. We are going to be getting to those here in a little bit during our Q&A, which is very soon. We just wanted to show you this tool, which again, you can have and try for free with the link down below. 30 days for free if you install vidIQ on Chrome or Firefox. I want to show you one more sample alert here. One I really like to go to because we talk to a lot of gaming channels, and I do feel like this particular problem could transcend gaming. At least I hope it can. So Stardew Valley. It's a game that came out a long time ago now, several years ago. It's very popular. It's an indie game, but it's incredibly popular. It's about farming, things like that. And the thing about this game is it sees updates, but very kind of rarely, and it's going to be a while before we even see the next update. And what you can do is, let's say you've dedicated your channel to Stardew Valley, right? You want to know when there's a trend because there's a lot of mods. There's a really heavy modding community in Stardew Valley. Or surprise, surprise, the developer talks about an update and you missed it. You're not following them on social media. Maybe you don't have Twitter. You completely miss it. So what I would do if I were you is literally make a Stardew alert, right? Now, this is for a channel that covers the specific, very old game. And I would literally just make the keyword Stardew. You could, it looks like I've done this in the past. Stardew Valley update, Stardew Valley mod. So a few different keywords to play with there, right? If any of these keywords start trending, you're going to get an alert. You're going to know, especially if you have the email frequency set the right way. Every day, for example, if there's suddenly videos that are getting, for example, 1,000 views per hour, you'll be getting an alert. Now, as I said, this is an older game, so I have to lower this view per hour threshold. I get one here. I made Stardew Valley loud. It's currently getting 754 views per hour. It was uploaded 2 days ago from a channel with 121,000 subscribers. This is very interesting. So somebody did something to Stardew Valley to change it in some way, and now I'm getting an idea for maybe a challenge I can do. But it's not a bad thing if you set this to 1,000 views per hour and nothing's there, because the point of this is to alert you when there is a trend. So whenever we're asked, hey, like, how do I even find trends? This is a tool that can help you out because it's literally putting you ahead of the game. You are setting yourself up for success in the future because, yes, the thing you cover on your channel might not be trending today, but if it is something that you cover that there are news updates around, you set this up and you're good to go. Now you can be getting alerts for this. And of course, like I said, you can just play with it without getting the alerts and try different keywords and see what comes up. So that is how the trend alerts tool works. And that was our quick demonstration. Sorry, what were you going to say?
I was going to say also one more thing that's non-vidIQ related that you can do with creators. If you want to find out what's trending, check Twitter. As we all know, Twitter, with things on Twitter, things are happening in real time. So the cool thing about at least the official Twitter app is that they have a trending tab. So you can literally go to the Twitter trending tab and see what's trending. And chances are, if it's a subject that's trending in your niche, if you make a video about it, you're probably going to get a lot of views because that is trending at that particular moment.
Yeah, you can set up a lot of different, what are they called? Not groups. You
Lists.
can set lists on Twitter, right? And you can follow accounts centered around what you cover on YouTube. And certain accounts, there are certain gaming accounts that I have notifications on for, so that if they post, and it just so happens they post kind of rarely, if they post, my phone blows up. And now I know this game developer who makes this game that I play on my channel is talking right now. They're doing something. So that's another way. I'm glad that you said that, because it gets into the next part of this before we get into Q&A, which is just some of our general tips outside of using our tools that people can be doing to help find trends. So you mentioned Twitter, of course, and then another one, of course, is TikTok.
Yeah,
TikTok is an entity, and whether or not it's part of your overall content strategy, regardless of that, look at the trending videos on TikTok, because you're not going to find just like a news story. You're going to find trending things that people are doing. Remember the TikTok dance craze that was trending for a very long time? People making dance videos. I'm sure it's still going on, but there was a moment there where everyone was doing that, right?
Yeah,
I am. I don't.
yeah.
At the time, I was not on TikTok very much, but I imagine, when people were making those videos, and now there's a Netflix show about it. Like, is it cake? Like they cut into things that look real, but it turns out
Oh
they're
yeah.
cake, right?
Yep.
That kind of stuff starts to surface very early on sites like TikTok. So that's another thing that I would be looking at if you are a creator in any space. Be following the trends in there. Especially, we get a lot of channels that come to our live streams who are like entertainment channels, right? They make memes. They want to cover all kinds of things. They really want to get into trend jacking. And if you're not at least on TikTok as a viewer to kind of stay abreast of what's going on, you're missing out big time.
Yeah, and that's the thing about being a creator. Obviously, we talk about growing on YouTube and being present and knowing what's happening on YouTube. But sometimes, actually, a lot of times, you need to go outside of YouTube if you really want to get the entire big picture of what's going on in your particular niche or subject area. Because there's a whole, I know it's kind of strange to be talking about this since we're vidIQ and we are YouTube centric, but there's a whole big world beyond YouTube that creators need to be aware of, even if they're not actively participating. Like me, I'm on TikTok, but I don't actively participate on TikTok like I make content on YouTube. But like Dan said, you still want to be aware of what's happening on TikTok, because that could lead to you making content on YouTube that might blow up potentially or whatever. So just be aware of what's happening in your general subject matter, whether it be on YouTube or off YouTube, and that will take you a long way.
Fall Guys, great example of a game that suddenly started trending. How do you make a trend alert for a game that doesn't exist? You don't. And that's the thing. It is super important. Unless you're really good at keywords and finding keywords that, future games are going to use. You could get lucky if you set up enough trend alerts. But the words together, Fall Guys, you wouldn't have known that until the game started getting popular. And where are you going to find stuff like that? That's where sites like Twitter and Instagram, places like that come in, where things are happening really quickly, like immediately, right?
Yep.
So very quickly, people are making these tweets about Fall Guys. It's this game, and everyone's talking about it. And now you, as a gaming creator who covers like trending games, goes out, you get Fall Guys, play a few rounds, and you try to learn as much as you can about that game as fast as you can, so you can start recording a video and giving people some tips on how to beat certain stages in Fall Guys. What is Fall Guys? Should you buy Fall Guys? All of these become different video ideas. And all because you were acting as quickly as you could when you noticed, wow, this game came out of nowhere and it's suddenly trending on social media.
Be aware, people. Be aware.
Yes. Finding trends is not easy. Doing YouTube is not easy.
No, not at all.
Every single part of the YouTube process is a job. It's, in my opinion, one of the greatest jobs in the world, but it is a job at the end of the day. And we do a lot of these live streams. We get a lot of questions. There is no magic bullet. There's nothing we can tell you that's going to like unlock some secret that you're just, you simply didn't do this one thing, and that's why your videos are not going anywhere. It's not like that. There's going to be a lot of research. There's going to be a lot of time spent honing your craft. So I want to get into questions. Any more final tips before we do?
I'll just piggyback off what you just said. Like you said, YouTube, I mean, it is a job, but I think more importantly for people to know, it's a lot of work. How you view that work, whether it be a job or whether it be something that you truly enjoy doing, just understand that there's a lot of work that goes into being successful on YouTube. It's not just uploading videos and then getting your likes or your comments. No. There's planning, there's execution, there's promotion, marketing, graphic designing. There's so much that goes into it, and you have to be at least competent in all of that stuff if you want to be successful. So just think about it like that.
Absolutely. So we are going to get into questions, and Slavgard put this best. When we go to hashtag questions, they will not be answering things like how to get more subs or how do I grow. They're too general, and that is true. Our entire channel is dedicated to answering the questions. How do you get more subscribers? How do you grow on YouTube? So please do check out our videos. Look carefully at the titles, the thumbnails, see what's going to fit best for you at whatever stage you are in your YouTube journey at present. But if you do have specific questions, we are getting into that right now. I'm already starting to grab questions and store them in the background. So if you ask a question, please don't spam it or anything like that. There's a good chance we already have it and we're just answering a lot. And yes, the way it works is hashtag question in front of your question helps us pick it out from the crowd. Kind of looks like that. So we're going to start doing this. And for the next, I would say, hour and a half or so, we're going to be sitting here taking your questions until our voices give out.
Community chat. We're having a vidIQ town hall, baby. Let's go.
Yes. So I am going to start grabbing some of these questions, meandering as I speak. I'm only trying to buy time as I half talk, half read.
So I've seen this one question a lot before you get into all the general questions. Do y'all keep asking where's Rob? Rob is on a much deserved break. So Rob is going to be away for a little while, but he'll be back. No worries. But we're letting him recharge. So he's fine. He's okay. He's nothing wrong with him. He's good.
Yeah, sorry. I didn't mention that yesterday too, and I meant to. It was like in my mental notes, and I never said it. And I think a couple people asked, and then we chat. I lost control of chat after that. But yeah, Rob's absolutely fine, and we'll be back the week after next. So I will still be, unfortunately for you, hosting these live streams next week as well. Okay, so we do have a few excellent questions here. We have a lot of excellent questions. I have a few that are already stored up. Okay, and I'm gonna grab two more, and then we'll start answering these. Actually, we'll come back to that. Okay, so the first one here is. So, I'm very curious about making a clips channel, which would consist of shorter videos related to the topics I talk about on my main channel. Any advice for doing something like this? I can let you start while I pull up an example because I have the perfect channel to look at.
Yeah, I mean, I guess depending on how long your regular videos are, you can definitely make a clip video if the regular videos are very long or you just want to break it down. It's funny because that later clip channel that Dan was alluding to is a clip channel from Unbox Therapy, who happens to be the largest YouTuber in terms of sub count on the platform, and he has his own podcast called Lou Later. But instead of I think he does put the whole podcast on YouTube, but he also has a separate channel to clip his podcast, which is called the Later Clips, and then he just drops the clips from the podcast on that channel, and that is all that channel is there for, is clips from his podcast. So if you do have longer form content that you feel it could be more digestible in shorter bursts, then I absolutely go for it.
So there are a lot of ways to kind of do this. And one of the channels that I follow, just because I enjoy their content, is called Josh Strife Hayes. And this is a gaming creator. They cover mostly MMOs. Okay. So this is their main channel. They're hitting 500,000 subscribers soon. And primarily deep dives on MMOs, different things going on. So they've also covered a few topics outside of their niche, such as NFTs, but it's always comes back to as it relates to gaming, right? What's the metaverse, things like that. So that's the main channel. However, if you go to channels and you check out their other channels, there's new ones. This is like a new one, the replays channel. This person streams on Twitch a lot. And so, actually, I don't think they stream a lot. I think that's the point. I think that's why the channel. Oh, thank you. I think that's why the channel does so well. They stream on Twitch from time to time, and they have another channel called Josh Strife Says. His name is Hayes, so that's fun way to. Anyway, so it's going to approach 100,000 subscribers soon. And what's cool about this channel is it is a clips channel, like you're describing. You have videos that are just a couple minutes long. Thumbnails are just their face and kind of a funny title, funny thumbnail. I'm terrified of this audio clip. So getting a lot of views for what I would say are not searchable titles at all. So the key to this strategy is that you really need to have a fan base already to make these particular types of titles and thumbnails work. I'm not saying that there's not other ways to do it. I'm just saying this is the first example that pops into my head when it comes to creating the content ecosystem that you're talking about. So if you have clips from videos that you feel like would make for good standalone content, I would encourage you to make a clips channel, but you wouldn't do titles and thumbnails like this because you're still building it up. You're going to do titles and thumbnails that are a little more searchable, something your audience is going to recognize so that the channel can grow and bring in a lot of new people. this channel, I would argue, is probably more for people who already watch one of these other channels by the same creator, right? So that's just kind of how they do it. That's what it's called, basically creating a content ecosystem. So for you, I would say that, again, titles and thumbnails are going to be key. It really depends. If you already have a big audience and you feel like your clips channel can do more funny, tongue-in-cheek kind of titles and thumbnails and stuff, absolutely. Absolutely do that. And if enough people enjoy that content, YouTube will continue to share it around with more people who it thinks will like that content. If the title and thumbnail are just intriguing enough, you might even pull in some new people as well.
Boom.
How to make B-roll more engaging while you shoot with a phone.
Ooh. Now, this is something that I do from time to time. I use my iPhone to make B-roll. I think the important thing about B-roll is that you shouldn't overdo it. I use B-roll to highlight a part of a story I'm trying to tell. So if I'm talking about the design of a product or something like that, then I cut to B-roll of the product design, like literally showing you the product and how it looks and different features of it. Like let's say the phone case, right? This particular phone case has an anodized aluminum ring around it, so I might cut the B-roll showing you this ring close up. So it's just basically me figuring out how to tell the story in a much more interactive way. Well, maybe interactive is the wrong word, but a much more visual way. So I think me personally, I use B-roll to enhance the visual of my storytelling, but you might use it differently, but that's how I use it.
Yeah, I think engaging B-roll is going to be when something's on the screen backing up what you're saying, you know.
Yeah.
With regards to shooting it with a phone, I've always felt that with a cell phone camera, and I don't shoot a lot on cell phones, Viper, so you correct me if I'm wrong, but the closer you get to an object, the nicer it looks.
It depends on if the cell phone has the macro mode, but yeah, they're definitely starting to come with macro mode now. So yes, that is the thing.
Yeah, and then lighting as well. You can, because cell phones do a really, really good job of taking a dark place and making and adding light to it, but that also adds a lot of grain to the screen.
Yeah.
So if you light something yourself, like you would for any other camera, you can get a lot nicer quality photos from a phone. But you gotta understand lighting as well. So even though you have a phone, you can go out, like get some like daylight bulbs. I did this once. A place like Walmart, they sell these really cheap, crappy camping lights. They clamp onto stuff, and I got daylight color temperature bulbs for them. And then this was when I had like no money and I wanted to get some lights on my setup. Then I think I used like parchment paper or something and kind of like carefully clipped it onto the light. And I just made sure it never got too hot or anything like that. But that would diffuse the light. And now I had this kind of makeshift light that I could use if I was taking B-roll or if I had it for my face cam or whatever. So you can really get into lighting like on the cheap as well. And of course, an open window, open curtains rather, in front of a window, that works too. But yes, hopefully our array of tips there were useful to you.
Indeed.
One of my trend-based videos got popular in the past, but recently has hindered my uploads from getting views. My audience expects one thing from me. How do I get other videos attention? So how do you get the attention of that audience with your other videos? This question's so long, I have to sit like above it.
Yeah, this is the dreaded I went viral for the wrong reason type question. And now I'm trying to get out of that doghouse. It's hard, man, because again, when they expect that one piece of content from you, but you're not passionate about it, or it's just maybe something that you did as an experiment and the experiment went a little too well, then you got to get out that hole. I don't know. It's rough.
Yeah.
What do you got, Dan?
There's a few things you can do. You can look objectively at the thing you did, do some research, and think, okay, if I'm going to double down on this viral moment, what could I do, right? What is it that I can do that's similar to it that would attract the same viewership? You're asking that question probably because you either can't or don't want to. It doesn't matter. Assuming you're past that point, you're like, no, I don't want to double down on that. Okay, cool. The next thing you could do, there's a couple of hard choices here. If the video today is still getting views, okay, that's important. Because if it went viral in the past, but your views per hour now are abysmal, if it's not doing anything, then don't worry about it. Continue making the content you want to make. However, if it's getting views today and bringing in the wrong audience, you can either A, delete the video, or unlist it rather, like get rid of it, you know, or B, you can make a new channel and let the royalties from that other video just build up forever and ever and ever. I had to make a similar choice on my old channel because I kind of abandoned it and I started other projects and whatever. And then I thought, oh, that's a monetized channel. I could go back to this channel and maybe kind of reboot it, right? And I looked, and the videos that were, because it was an old channel with a lot of videos on it, some of the videos were doing well. And I was making a little bit of money. I didn't realize I was getting some royalties from that channel. And I thought, if I want to relaunch this channel the right way, I got to get rid of those videos. And if I get rid of those videos, I'm throwing money away. I'm literally taking money and throwing it in the dumpster. It's free money. I don't have to do anything. It's just coming in. So instead, I made another new channel and just started whatever new project I wanted to start on that new channel.
Yep. All right. Real quick, we need to have an aside. Because you hear a lot of advice sometimes about whether to delete videos or unlist them, and they are completely different animals. If you delete a video from YouTube, that video is gone forever. Those views are gone forever, and you will lose those views. Like whatever views you got for the video, they go bye-bye. They literally get taken away from you. If you unlist the video, then that video, it goes away. It doesn't, it's not like you delete it though. You don't lose the view, but the video, it gets taken out of the rotation in the algorithm. So the algorithm will no longer see that video if it's unlisted. So you keep those views, that video gets unlisted, and the algorithm can't see it anymore. So what happens is that a lot of times people will unlist videos so the algorithm can point towards more relevant videos. So that's why Dan just suggested that you unlist that video, because once you do that, then the algorithm will no longer be focusing on that video because it won't have that video to focus on, and it will focus on your more relevant content, and that might provide a spark for your more relevant content to get views. So there you go.
There you go. Thank you for that, because I was starting to grab some more questions in the background here. So, all right, cool. Thank you for your questions. We have a whole bunch. The best advice to transfer subscribers that came from shorts to watch long form videos. There's another similar question I grabbed from this person as well. Are shorts a good option to attract initial audience that consumes my niche? So I think these questions are coming from the same place, basically, these two questions. So we're kind of answering these simultaneously. But starting with the best way to transfer subscribers from shorts to longs, I can go first here and just say, if your shorts and your long form videos are similar enough in terms of like, will they appeal to the people who found them in shorts, right? Will your long form videos appeal to them? Then I would say, yes, it is possible to do that. A lot of channels I've seen now have done that successfully, but in most of those cases I've seen, they start with one or the other. So for example, Block Facts started with Minecraft shorts about facts about Minecraft blocks. After doing a ton of those and getting like 1 million plus subscribers, that was when the pivot happened to going to long form versions of facts about Minecraft blocks. However, you don't have to wait till you get 1 million subscribers to do that. I think BlockFacts could have done it sooner, but what he noticed was that he was getting more views from browse than from the short shelf when he uploaded a video. And that was a clue to him that like, oh, wow, I'm getting a lot of views. The other way I've seen it is a channel like Colin and Samir, where they start making long form videos and then they added shorts in as part of their strategy, and both are doing phenomenally well. And again, it always appeals to the same audience. I kind of took that and ran with it. Do you want to add anything to that?
No, I think you pretty much hit it on the head. I think it's always tricky trying to get people that watch your short form videos to watch your longer form video. But I think the best way, like you said, Dan, is if the content is similar enough, then they'll just start watching your longer form content automatically because the content is on the same wavelength. But if you're trying to like transfer people from one completely different piece of content to another piece of content that's not similar, then you're gonna have a harder time doing that.
Yeah, and that kind of comes back to this question of what's, are shorts even a good option for that initial audience? And again, I believe if you've made your shorts intentionally for like the same audience as you would make long form content for, then yes, I think it can be. But certain things don't. I would say certain types of content don't necessarily thrive in shorts. Shorts have to be really interesting, really funny, really quick. Because you don't get to choose what short you watch in most cases. When you go to the short shelf, it just starts playing something that it thinks you might like. It's test things on you. And the things you stop on and watch through, YouTube's going to take note of that and go, oh, this person watched this video 4 times. I'm going to check this out. I'm going to give them more like it, more from this creator. So if people are bouncing from your short before they even get to know you or what it's about, then that's not going to help anybody in any case. So yeah, thank you for your questions about shorts. We're seeing a lot of them. You pulled up this one, I think. Was there something here
Yeah,
you wanted to talk about?
I did pull it up. And no, God, no, YouTube Shorts is definitely not dead. Have you seen how much YouTube have promoted shorts? I mean, YouTube have promoted shorts so much that I think they had an ad in the Super Bowl, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, shorts are not dead. A lot of smaller creators are seeing explosive growth on YouTube Shorts, but that is kind of like a lottery thing. That's not guaranteed. But I think you just have to be smart about how you implement them. If you have a dedicated shorts channel, then that's good, and you have a chance to grow because you are catering to that audience. Where you run into trouble, which we just highlighted, is when you try to mix short videos with long form videos. That's where the trouble can begin, because what you need to realize is that you're talking about two completely different audiences. The people that watch short videos aren't necessarily going to be the same people that watch your longer form content. So, like Dan alluded to in the other question, if your content is similar enough, then you might get lucky. But by and large, I would stay away from trying to intermingle those two unless your content is similar across the board. But I am of the mindset, like Mr. Beast, like MKBHD, and other many creators. If you want to do short form content, if you want to do shorts, you should probably have a dedicated channel for shorts and shorts alone. But that's just my opinion.
You can absolutely do either. The nice thing about YouTube Shorts, I don't think it necessarily matters. Especially like if you do shorts on a shorts channel, but you have a long form channel, you unlock the community tab at 500 subscribers. You start posting regularly on your shorts channel's community tab, and suddenly people who have seen your shorts might be seeing your community tab posts, and that could be an opportunity for you to say, by the way, I have this long form content channel similar to the shorts channel. There's little things you can do to try and mix the traffic a little bit. But think about it this way: even if your shorts viewers and your long form viewers never meet, if they become two separate audiences for all eternity, you're simultaneously growing two YouTube channels. Google is going to send you a silver play button for each of those. What an achievement. If you get 100,000 subscribers on both of those channels, what an achievement. And then, yeah, I think that sometimes people are afraid of the idea of like starting a separate shorts channel, or putting them on their regular channels. There's pros and cons to both. There are. So it's kind of a personal preference. But it's this question of, are YouTube Shorts dead? I think this might be coming from a place of like, shorts used to get ridiculous amounts of views. Maybe your feeling is that the playing field is leveled out. When shorts first came out and we started talking about it, yeah, like I made a few shorts that were nothing special at all, and they were the first videos I ever made on that other channel that got over 1 million views. And it was at a time where like no one else was doing it really. Like I was just early. But now the playing field is starting to even out. So quality is going to always surface. The cream will always rise to the top. So just keep that in mind.
Definitely.
I had videos that had hundreds of thousands of views recently. What's the best way of going about doubling down? Most videos recently have gotten dreaded 10 out of 10 rankings. Oh no. We hate to see that. So opposite of what the question we got from earlier, I have a video that's blowing up. I don't want to double down on it. This person's like, oh, I have a video that's blowing up. How do I double down on it? Audience research, I would say. I would be looking for videos similar to the one that's blowing up, right? And watching those and take notes, learn everything you can about the people who like the thing that you made that's blowing up, And so you can look at the data on that video all you want, and you can discern a lot of different things from it. You can pick up a lot of things from that data, but you really should be looking at every other avenue in that interest. Like, so if maybe let's just say, for a simple example, it was a gaming video and you're a gaming channel, but this particular game was different than what you were normally playing, and it happened to blow up. Now, I wouldn't just be on YouTube. I would be on the Discord server for that game. I'd be on the subreddit for that game. I would be on forums, wherever the community of that game is hanging out. So wherever the community around this interest is, go learn about them. Go see what they're talking about. Go see what questions they constantly have. Go see how you can address those questions with videos. but you want to take that video now and like immerse yourself in the audience research around it.
Do your research, baby. Do your research.
So, how do you get your audience to engage with you via
Ooh,
comments?
okay.
This is always a fun one.
This is a good question. So basically, you have to give them a reason. You can either say something that's going to trigger their emotional responses, and they will definitely leave comments, or you can ask a video video. You can ask a question in your video that will elicit them to comment and answer the question, or you can put a call to action in your video, just letting them know that you want them to comment. I mean, there are different ways. I think they're probably the most easy way, and the way that you're going to get a lot of comments is if you do something that triggers an emotional response, because you know how people are. If you say something that they feel like it's a hot take and they don't agree with, they will let you know relatively quickly that they don't agree and why they don't agree. So there you go.
Yeah, definitely like those more controversial stances can lead to some questions. Getting things wrong can lead to comments.
Yep.
And there are times where I'll be editing a video and I realize I said something that's a little bit wrong. And I'm like, well, I could cut that out, but it's not going to hurt anybody. And it might be interesting to see if people correct it in the comments. So there's been a couple times where I've left it, just deliberately to see. And sure enough, people are like, actually, and they're so happy to like jump in there and do that. And sometimes it starts really, really interesting conversations. And then you can answer and go, oh, you're right. Oops, silly me. And that could be one way to do it. But my favorite way to engage with the comments is to simply ask a question. Ask a question about your viewers. Ask them something they would want to talk about. Like what I've said this before, people love to talk about themselves. We just do. We just love to talk about what we're up to. So ask people what it is related to what you're doing in your video. Don't just ask people, hey, what's the weather like where you are? That's boring. Ask people whatever the subject matter of your video is. So like Jeff, who works here at vidIQ, has a channel about headphones, and he's always reviewing different headphones. So he could say, what's your favorite pair of wireless earbuds? Let me know in the comments. That would be related. That's asking the audience a question about themselves, and it's related to the content that he's making. So those are some tips for you there. Good luck. Are voiceovers better than background music with text to read?
Yes, in my opinion, yes.
I think so too. I've seen it done really nicely in some videos, but I usually, if I see that, I click off because it's too much work. I don't know about you, but I'll watch a lot of YouTube while I'm cooking, and that means I'm not really watching. I'm keeping it on, and I'm listening to it.
Yeah, I think the term for it is passive listening. So what you all have to realize is that, like Dan said, not everybody's going to be watching your content actively. They might have it on in the background as they're doing something else. So if your content is just text scrolling in a screen and people are forced to actively engage you, they might not like that. I say this all the time, and I feel like I need to say it again. The whole foundation of YouTube is the creator interacting or bonding with their viewer. And we need to be doing everything that we can to like bond with the viewer as much as we can. So not using a robot voice or not using a sense of text on the screen while the video is playing, talking directly to your viewers, showing them your face, different things like that. Although I know there's a bunch of facing channels, so I'm not going to go down that path, but showing them your face just so that you can have that emotional connection with them. Talking to them actually. There's like talking at somebody and then they're talking to people. I think especially on YouTube, it's better when you talk to people and not at people. So just be aware of this. Like, I think YouTube is what it is today because it is literally the internet equivalent of having a conversation like at a bar or a cafe, like having a normal conversation that you would have with your friends or family. That's what it's supposed to be like on YouTube. So just think about that.
There you go. There's a few really good questions here that I'm just grabbing real quick.
Grab them.
Okay. If your question's kind of long and hard to read, it is tempting for me to skip over it. So if you find your questions getting skipped quite often, maybe try to reword it. We have a lot of questions to get to. It's nothing personal. So we have one here. Should I take the audio from my videos and make a Spotify podcast? Should be a pretty interesting way to diversify some content.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
I don't see why not, except for the fact that that is extra time. It might not be a lot of extra time for you, but it is extra time. And if you want it done right, like imagine what that sounds like from the podcast listener's perspective. You might need to record like a different intro. Like we've taken conversations from this live stream and made them podcast episodes in the past, but what I'll tend to do is like an intro to that separately. So I'll record an intro and slap it onto the beginning and say, what you're about to hear is like a conversation that we had, and blah, 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 and then it'll get into the conversation. So if you feel like that context is needed, like that's extra work. You certainly don't need our permission to do that. I would avoid doing this or not doing this based on the permission of two internet strangers. But if you feel like that's something you want to test and you have the time to try it out, absolutely. My version of that would be, could I take the shorts I make and also upload them to TikTok? And I've chosen most of the time, I've tried it, but most of the time I don't, because even though I know how to do it and I can do it, and when I have done it, it's been successful, it's more time than I'm willing to spend because I have this much time to work on my personal endeavors. I'm really focused here at work. So I've allowed myself only so much time in the week to like focus on my channel. And I'm very particular about how I spend that time. So for me, even repurposing content on another platform is a bridge too far. And I'm not going to do that. So it's a personal preference.
Indeed.
I picked this one because I think it's one that a lot of people can end up struggling with. Even though it is a bit vague, I think we can speak to this as a whole. Like, will my channel survive if I switch topics? There's a lot of it depends here. It really does. We saw a channel on the stream earlier where they said, hey, I made a video and it blew up, but I don't want to double down on that content. What can I do to kind of like, basically they wanted to take control again, right? Like their audience is expecting something else when they come to their channel. If you have that situation going on, let's say your channel is doing really, really well right now, but you are sick of your topic. You're like, I need to pivot. I'm tired of this. And you're worried it's not going to appeal to that audience, the new audience, or your current audience rather, then I would start a new channel. Plain and simple. You might as well start a new channel, start from scratch. Let them come on in, and leave your old channel undisturbed and let it kind of accrue views, maybe even some revenue if you're monetized. So that's one scenario. I don't want to take the whole thing here, Viper, if you had anything you wanted to jump in with.
Yeah, I like you said, we get this question a lot, and people talk about switching topics. I think there have been a few channels that have done this successfully, and I think the main thing is when you are thinking about maybe pivoting, what we call it here in the creative space, when you're thinking about pivoting, you have to like give your audience like sample sizes of what you could potentially want to pivot to, just so you don't blindside them with your pivot, because that's a good way to alienate people. But if you like gradually like sprinkle in some content that is different from the norm, the content that you were thinking about pivoting to along the way, I think you set yourself up for a much easier pivot, because your audience will then be exposed to that content and they won't just be blindsided when you decide, okay, I want to leave that old content behind and I want to pivot to this brand new content. At least they have an idea of what to expect moving forward. So I think that's the best way to handle a pivot if you are thinking about doing that.
Mm-hmm. It's really about knowing your audience. Like there's certain gaming channels that can pivot to a different game if they feel like that different game appeals to the same audience, So if you're playing, I mentioned Stardew Valley earlier. If you're playing Stardew Valley, you would pivot to another farming kind of game, right? And that's your best bet. I've always said, though, you will lose people. There will be people who do not follow you on that pivot, no matter how small that pivot might be. There's going to be people who are like, I subscribe for the other thing. I'm sorry. And it's nothing personal. It's just you needed to move on for whatever reason, and they're going to move on. And that's okay, because if you commit to whatever it is you do next, your channel won't fail. Your channel won't die. You just commit to it. And now, yes, you might have lost some of your subscribers from old, but now you're gaining a new audience. Now you're doing something you like even more, and things are really snowballing for you because you're having fun, your new audience is having fun, YouTube sharing your content, and then the content from the past is just in the past.
Well said.
So I wanted to tackle this one because I found this pretty interesting. My videos have been pretty good in terms of CTR, between 6.5 and 7.5%. But my reach is generally pretty small, limiting the number of views I get. Is there anything I can do beyond posts on social media?
Interesting. It's interesting. I asked Rob about this on one of the live streams a few weeks ago. and he told me, if you're at the point where you feel like your reach is at a plateau, then at that point you need to start experimenting with new content ideas and topics,
Mhm.
preferably things that appeal to a wider audience. Because a lot of times we're so focused on being so niche down and so locked into one particular subject area that we kind of put ourselves in a corner.
Mhm.
And while that's good for initial growth, if you want to scale your channel, if you want to grow beyond that, you have to do things that go beyond that initial niche and topic. So this might just be something where you need to experiment with topics that appeal to a bigger audience instead of what the niche is that you normally focus on, or figure out how to take your niche and then make it more appealing to a broader audience. That's pretty much what I can tell you there.
Mhm. That's pretty much it. If you're noticing, because what that sounds like to me is you've kind of hit the ceiling on your particular topic. And if you feel like, well, wait a minute, there's channels with way more subscribers than me covering the same exact topic. Their ceiling seems to be much higher than mine. Then it might be a matter of improving those titles and thumbnails. 6.5 to 7.5% click through rate is, if YouTube is saying that's good, then that is good for you. Like that's the click through rate you're generally getting. It can vary channel to channel though. It's like my click through rate, if a bad video for me is a click through rate of over 10%. If I get between like 10 and 12%, that's a bad video for me. So I need to be in the 14 to 17% range to have a video that has the hopes of getting a 1 out of 10 on that scale. So it's a completely different story for me. But before, there was a time where the click through percentage was much lower, where 10% was a mind blowing success. But as you know, as the channel grew and I tried different things, I was honing my strategy, and now it's all changed. It's completely different than what it was. So I wouldn't just go off of that percentage and think, well, this is where it needs to be, and I don't need to improve here. Maybe it is a case of that. But so it's going to take, I think, sitting down and kind of looking at your analytics and figuring out like, okay, and not just your analytics, like the audience, doing that research and figuring out like, okay, maybe I niche down too much, like Viper said, or maybe I'm not doing enough to attract other people in this space. So determine if you hit the ceiling or not is the first step.
Yep.
All right, we need to grab our questions. When should I start tweaking a video's thumbnail and title if it's not doing so well? Is this something you've practiced?
A little bit, yeah. So if you want to see like an immediate change to your analytics, it's best to do this within the first hour if you're posting the video. Anything after the first hour, and you're probably not going to see much change. Although I think we talked about before about how when your video is like dead, maybe be like 2, 3, 4 weeks down the road, experimenting with changing your thumbnail might revitalize that video. But again, if you want to see like immediate like results of doing this within the first hour, is probably when you want to do it.
I have a video on this channel that's really old now, but I did a video when the community tab was announced that it was going to be available for channels at 500 subscribers rather than 1,000. And so I made a video very quickly that same day, and the title was "Millions of Channels Just Unlocked This." I didn't say what it was, right? So it's not a searchable video. However, in that video, I took the time to break down my strategies for the community tab. So I have two choices. Well, three choices. I could just not do anything, or I could do a follow-up video that's more searchable and that breaks down the community tab and my strategies similar to that other one, or I could redo the title and thumbnail of the current video and see if it gets picked up again, make it more searchable. It has great tips in there, and there's almost no reason to make it because it's still pretty current, right? So I can take an old video and do that. So it really, in that sense, it doesn't really matter, right? However, like Viper said, I've seen that too, where in the first hour, if you're noticing like, ooh, these are bad signs, these are bad signals, that first hour is crucial for the quickest turnaround. Because think about it, YouTube, in those first hours your video is live, and you've picked this time, right? Like, let's say you posted at 6 a.m. because your audience is generally online at 8, 9 a.m., right? And you notice, wow, 6 a.m. when I post, usually it does way better than this. It's only going to get worse from there because your audience is going to continue to come onto YouTube. YouTube is going to present them that video, and they're going to ignore it. And YouTube is not going to try too many more times to keep putting that video in front of them. They're just going to keep ignoring it. So that's why it's crucial. But be aware, the one thing you could do with this strategy is overthink it and start changing titles and thumbnails that don't necessarily need to be changed. You could start looking for signals that aren't there. I've done this, especially when you get it right. It feels so good. Like when you change a thumbnail and your graph goes from this to this, it is mind-blowing. Like, oh my gosh, I did it. Like I saved this video. But when you do that, you get a little bit confident, right? And then the next time it happens or you think it's happening, you're like, I got to save this video before it's too late, but really you haven't given it enough time. So chill out. Nope, I'm changing it. And then you just end up floundering. Then you're going through 4 or 5, 6 different thumbnail iterations and you're trying. I'm speaking from experience. So try not to overthink it. Sometimes it needs patience, and that's part of it too. So really be careful about that. But there's been one time I woke up and I looked at the video that I had scheduled to go live, and I looked at the title, and I looked at the thumbnail, and I said to myself, nobody cares, Dan. That video, nobody's going to click that. Like when I had uploaded it, I guess I just wasn't thinking ahead that much, and I went to bed. Before it went live, I changed the title and thumbnail because I just had such a better idea. And if that's happening to you, that's also another good time to do it. If you're like, oh, I just thought of the perfect way to pitch this video, do it. Like, you know what I mean? Especially if it's underperforming.
Definitely. Absolutely.
All right. Thank you for pulling some more questions here. What do we got? I sometimes see short videos that are about 30 seconds to a minute long that are using the hashtag shorts, but aren't actually YouTube shorts. Does it still pop up in the shorts feed or no?
I believe, Dan, correct me if I'm wrong, but if it is not a vertical video, YouTube does not recognize it as a short.
It can be square.
Oh, it can be, okay.
Yeah, but yes, basically you're right. I've seen people do this too. My understanding is that they don't understand how it works yet. Like they're kind of new to it. I've seen people use shorts incorrectly. I've seen big companies who are trying to get into shorts use the hashtag on a vertical video or a widescreen video. And I'm like, guys, that's not how it works. You know, and I blame YouTube for this a little bit because when shorts came out, they said, use the hashtag shorts in either your title or description. Mm-hmm. But they weren't very clear as to why you should do that or if you need to do that. They said you don't necessarily need to. They were kind of like wishy-washy with the language. But in reality, no, you don't even need the hashtag. The hashtag is to help categorize it in a different section of YouTube, but it does not impact the presence on the short shelf. YouTube will see a vertical or square video under a minute, and it'll take it, and it'll put it where it needs to go. So if someone's making a widescreen video and putting hashtag shorts, they're just kind of doing that. Maybe they know something I don't. Maybe in the future something's going to change and they got wind of it. And in a year from now, I'll be like, oh my gosh, I feel so dumb for not knowing that. But generally, in my experience, it seems like they don't really fully understand how that works.
There you go.
If you have an idea for a topic that has stopped trending, what would you recommend doing? Oh, sorry. Would you recommend doing it anyway or dropping in a favor of something more relevant?
You know, I think it really just depends on the type of content that you're doing overall on your channel, because there is such thing as seasonal content. So even if it's not relevant at that particular time, you can still make a video to have it in the library for later on when that relevancy comes back, and then you'll be at the top of the food chain for that. So it really just depends on your objective as a creator.
Yeah, I would be. I can see doing that if like something that was trending is something you're still passionate about it, right? Like you want to talk about it. There's probably no harm in making that video, but you go into that process understanding that if I had uploaded this last week, it would have done better than now. You know,
I must warn you all, you creators out there that make videos about this type of stuff. I think we are all, as a country, over the Will Smith slap. So no more content about that. We're all over it. You're not getting any views off that anymore.
Well, and if it's something like that, I think the way to do that is the Will Smith slap 1 month later. You know, like, so you're talking about the fallout, right? Like, it's been a month since this happened.
Stop it, Dan. Stop it.
You can do it. Like, will people watch? I don't know. Try it.
Oh my God. You did not just make that video sound like a tech product review.
1 month, yeah. Will Smith slap. Should you buy it?
Okay, next question.
Will Smith slap NFT. Should you?
My Lord.
Is it worth it?
Oh, man.
My unboxing. Do the tags used when posting a video harm the video when they address more than one subject? Is the ideal straight to the point or open as much as possible to attract new audiences?
I brought this question up because this is something that I used to do a lot when I first started out on YouTube. I used to tag stuff with all sorts of tags that were related to the video, not related to the video, this, that, and the other. So my thoughts are that your tag should be as relevant to that particular video topic as possible, and you should not deviate, because the whole purpose of the tag is to give the algorithm, the robot, more information to know who to put your video in front of. And if you go putting tags in there that aren't relevant to the video, you could potentially, although highly unlikely, you could potentially confuse the robot, and you don't want to confuse the robot. So don't go putting tags in there that aren't relevant to the actual video.
Yeah, 100%. Here's the thing, tags before the AI was as sophisticated as it is now were, I think, a stronger indicator of where a video should go on YouTube. But YouTube has always been building this thing to kind of learn on its own. So now you hear people saying, well, tags aren't even relevant. You can post a video without any tags. But YouTube themselves has said, well, wait a minute, like tags are still really good for misspellings, right? And that's a clue. That tells you that YouTube's AI is still not great at figuring out when someone misspells a word. So if you understand the common misspellings of some of the keywords or keyword strings that you're putting in there, then it helps to add those. There was a time way back in the day where if you put Justin Bieber in your tags, for example, as he was like blowing up, right? It worked. Like you would get all these impressions, you know. But if your video is about how to cook potatoes and you're tagging it and titling it and making it about Justin Bieber, you've just confused everybody who clicks on that video. And very quickly, YouTube realizes that people don't like this content and they stop pushing it. So you want to be very clear with your tags and your metadata as a whole. You want to make sure that title, thumbnail, tags, description, everything is as clear as possible so that it can get to the right person. You don't want viewers, because your question is, I could attract new viewers if I try different keywords, but you don't want those viewers. You want viewers who are specifically looking for what you're doing. If they find you and they don't want what you're serving to them, they will leave, and YouTube will think, oh, I thought people wanted to watch this, and now it's not recommending your video as much. So there you go. Got through a lot of questions so far. By the way, thank you everyone for your questions. We did a poll earlier. 61% of you are new to this live stream. I wasn't very specific on if that means this is your second vidIQ live stream. Maybe it's your first Q&A live stream. Either way, welcome. We do this every week. New time, 2 p.m. Eastern. It used to be an hour earlier, but 2 p.m. Eastern, we do these Q&A streams where we talk about a topic and then take your questions. And we have a ton of them here.
New time permanent?
It is, until I decide it's not.
Damn it, Dan.
That was my nickname everywhere I've been. Okay, so let's see. I'm seeing some questions here. Some of them are very technical, kind of long, which is why I'm stalling.
Okay, let's see what we got. But my views. Okay, I want you to pull it from just for the heck of it. Okay, I get tons of impressions and I have good thumbnail, but my view to impression ratio is still bad. Any ideas on how to fix this? Yeah, analyze your titles and thumbnails. We talk about extensively on the channel about how your packaging needs to be up to snuff. Your thumbnails have to be prime. Your titles have to be prime as well. You really want to pay attention to how you title a video, and I've talked about this before, but when you're titling your videos, you don't want to give away too much in the title because you want to leave an element of intrigue so people will click on the video and wonder why your title is the way that it is. And the same thing with your thumbnail. You don't want to give away everything in the thumbnail. You want to leave an element of intrigue in the thumbnail so people wonder, okay, if I click on this thumbnail, I'm going to get the result. So basically, what's happening is that you might have a thumbnail with like an emotion on your face and something like that, or you might have a question mark in the thumbnail. You gotta leave an element of intrigue in your titles and thumbnails so people will want to finish the story, because your titles and thumbnails are the start of a story. But the trick in getting people to care enough to want to see that story to a conclusion. So in order to do that, you have to craft these things in such a way that you introduce them to what the idea of the story is, but you don't want to give the whole story away. So that's how you have to think about when that's what you need to be thinking about when you are making your titles and your thumbnails.
Mm-hmm. So I'm seeing some very interesting questions. I've just starred a few here. So let's see. When I say starred, I mean kind of pinned them so we can come back to them. So was this the one you were just talking about? I get tons of impressions, good thumbnails, my views impressions ratio
Yep.
still bad. That was
Yep.
the one?
I think that might have been the one. Yep.
Okay. Sorry, I let you kind of handle that while I was looking for more questions. How long does it take a new channel for YouTube to start mass reposting?
Huh? I don't understand the question.
So I think what they're asking is how much time is it going to take? I have a new channel. How long before YouTube starts posting my videos like to people?
Oh, you mean before they appear on the homepage?
I
Oh,
think I don't know what mass. I'm a little bit thrown by mass reposting. And if you want to rephrase the question, maybe we'll spot it. But what like going off of my instinct here, I think what you mean is how long does it take for YouTube to start picking up your videos? It can take a couple days, some weeks, some months. This is one of those it depends situations. A lot of times, like when people ask us, hey, I'm new. It doesn't seem like my videos are going anywhere. How long is this going to take? And we look at the channel. It's not necessarily a matter of impatience. It's a matter of skill. Like titles and thumbnails just aren't quite hitting the mark. And to know this, what you can do is go to people who are making similar content to you and look at their titles, look at their thumbnails. They're attracting the audience you want to attract, and now make those improvements, make those changes to your content so they're more in line with what people would generally click on.
yeah. Like Dan said, there is no like timetable for this. I mean, you can have a brand new channel, post video one, and go viral. So
Yeah.
you just don't know. We have no idea.
I have a channel I'm experimenting with that I'm building for search, and I'm not uploading to it a lot. I don't have much to put on there yet, but I'm trying to build up a back catalog on this channel, and I've only got a couple videos, but already one of the videos has over 200 views, and it's a new channel. And the first video that I posted, it took a couple days, but it started getting a couple of views, and slowly over time got more and more because it was finding where it needs to go. So I think when you post a video, YouTube is trying to find, when you have 0 subscribers, 0 videos, YouTube is like, I don't know who you are. I have nothing to go off of. There's nobody to show this to because you're new. So I'm gonna just try this in some places. We'll see what happens. I'll look at the captions. I will look at the title. I will look at the thumbnail. I'll look at everything I need to see, and I will put this where I think it might need to go. And the best way to do this quickly is search-driven content. If you're answering a question, if you're making a searchable video, I've always thought that's the best way to start kind of building up that momentum.
Yep.
My analytics say that the top search terms for the video have nothing to do with the video. So my niche. So it's hurting retention.
Wait.
I need to read that again. I thought I understood this when I picked it. Do you get it?
I get it, but I don't
Okay.
believe it. Because normally when you make a video and you go to that video's analytics page and it shows you the top search term for the video, usually YouTube is right spot on with the search term for any particular video. Because again, I've told you all before that the algorithm is very, very good at identifying what your video is about. So when you're telling me that the search terms have nothing to do with the video, that's weird to me.
So I'm just trying to find a video on our channel that I can kind of look at and try and see maybe if we can get an example of what you're talking about. So like you go to the analytics of a video. This one's doing really well for us right now. Are you talking about this blurb right here?
No. Go to reach.
So I know about this, like the search terms that people are using to find the video.
I think that's what he's talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. But they're saying, so my analytics say the top search terms for the video have nothing to do with the video. or
Right.
my niche. So when the way they put it, it was almost like my analytics are telling me it's hurting my retention, when that was confusing. But I think I get what you're saying now. So people are using these search terms in our case to find our video, vidIQ being the one that's pulling the most traffic. But really, this video is not hitting search hardly at all. Like, we're 2.6% of its traffic so far has come from search, and most of that is from the terms vidIQ. So people typing in vidIQ in the search bar are finding one of our latest videos. And that's how a lot of people search YouTube. They think of channels they like and they just type the channel name in to see if they've uploaded recently. So that makes a lot of sense. So I would take that with a grain of salt, if that's what you're looking at. But you're saying the search terms people are using have nothing to do. So it might be time to run those search terms yourself and see the videos that are coming up, and then play around with some search terms for things you want to rank for. Now, if you have our tool installed, you can play around with a lot of this before you even post your video with the preview and search results tool. So one of the terms we played with for this video was how to get free views. This is the search term we're kind of targeting. We want to target people who are asking the question how to get free views. So if you hit preview and search results, the reason our video shows up twice is because it's already posted. This one with the gray outline around it, this is a fictional video. This is the tool because it's designed also for if you haven't posted yet. So ignore the fact that it's here twice. Basically, it's saying, hey, if your video ranks amongst the top videos for this search term, this is what the thumbnail and the title are going to look like among them. So what you can do is keep changing this keyword here at the top and, continue to play with, boy, that is not working. Continue to play with the keyword until you start to see some results that make a little more sense. And this can help give you a direction as to where you're going with your search terms. And of course, you can go to the YouTube homepage and play with the search terms in there. If you don't have the tool installed, that's totally fine. So there you go.
Yeah, and the other thing is that I saw somebody in the chat saying that the suggested videos are nothing to do with the niche, and I've had that happen to me before, and I don't really know how to get around that. That's just YouTube being weird and goofy. But the other thing that you might want to check is the auto captions. Make sure that your content not being auto captioned in a different language, because that might mess with some things as well. And trust me, I know too much about that. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole, but yeah, check your auto captions, check your tags as well. Make sure your tags are relevant to the video, and hopefully that helps you out.
Great tip on the captions. I completely forgot about that too. Yeah. That is, they can be a bit screwy at times.
Auto captions they're not nice.
Yeah. So I get around 90% average view duration on my shorts, which is good. But none of them have been pushed over 7,000 views. So I post daily. You have 1,000 subscribers in 3 months. This is excellent progress I'm seeing. Will it ever pick up? Now, this is like covering my mouth. Viper will be back. But there we go. I'm going to hide your question for now so I can talk. I need to get a better shot here so I'm not right up in the camera's face. That is a project for future Dan. So 90% average view duration. And what you're saying is you feel like your shorts should get more than 7,000 views every time you post, which is totally fair. I can see why you would want to continue to see that growth. What I would be doing is continue to practice your craft. Someone, I think because earlier Viper was talking about storytelling and people in the chat were talking about storytelling. And that when I saw this question, I actually saw someone talking about storytelling. And that's what I was going to say. Storytelling is everything with shorts, right? So if you have 90%, how can you get it over 100%? What could you be doing to get people to watch it again? Sometimes it's a matter of making it even shorter. Sometimes it's a matter of something happening in that short that was so interesting, you have to watch it twice, or it flew by so fast, you have no choice but to watch it twice. And there's also loops too. You can play around with having your short loop in such a way where people, until they see it, like maybe the second time around, they don't realize they've just watched something twice. If you can get your retention over 100% consistently, that is a really, really, really good sign to the YouTube Shorts algorithm, and it starts to push that more and more and more. If you've gotten 1,000 subscribers in 3 months, you're making great progress. I wouldn't. You're using the question. Your question says, "Will it ever pick up?" You're making really, really excellent progress here. So keep going down that road and just keep honing your craft, and it will pick up. But already, you should be very proud of what you've accomplished. Trust me. Like a lot of channels who try out shorts take several months just to like understand their strategy. So you're doing really, really good. Okay. Thank you for all your questions here. What's a good ratio of views in the first hour of publishing a video to so views to subscriber ratio in the first hour when publishing a new video? This is going to depend. It's going to vary for every single channel. There's really no good way to answer this. But here's what I'll show you. Let's go back to our YouTube tools. Let's go into YouTube Studio. We'll look at that same video. This is a bad example because we're just looking at one video, but you can kind of use the returning viewers graph to get an idea of the ratio you have now of new versus returning viewers. Ignore subscribers. Okay. Subscribers are fickle. Use returning viewers for this type of measurement. And it's under audience. So if you go to analytics, audience, this is your new to returning viewer graph for your whole channel. Okay. You want to bring in ideally a steady stream of both, right? You want new viewers and you want returning viewers. But when you post a video, YouTube's going to show it first to people who have seen it, right? Like they have probably subscribed to you. They've been watching you consistently. YouTube knows, hey, this person like really likes to watch vidIQ videos. So when vidIQ posts a new video, I don't care what it's about, I'm going to show that person, right? So your returning viewers are going to see it first, which is pretty much always going to happen. YouTube can use the data from them to push it to new people. In terms of what the ratio is, I really wish I had a good answer. I don't, but it's because it's not really where you want to be looking. What you want to look at is your dashboard. If I were you, I'd be looking at all of this stuff here and determining what the rank of your video is. And because we're doing a live stream right now, we can't see what that rank is, which is really frustrating. I wish we can kind of go back in time and see it, but it gives you an idea. So like when we posted this video, for example, I keep clicking the wrong buttons, this video, you can see the ratio was good. This was a 1 to 2 out of 10 when it was first uploaded. I can't remember if it was one or the other, but this was ranking really high out of 10, out of our, out of the top 10 uploads. And it did a phenomenal job. And as you can see, when we go to the audience tab for this, it's already bringing in over 1,000 new viewers. But for the most part, returning viewers have seen it. The graph hasn't processed yet. I'm willing to bet by now these two lines have gotten a lot closer together. If not, the blue one crossed over the purple one. So that's what you're kind of looking at. Pay attention to your dashboard and let YouTube tell you, hey, usually in the first hour, you get more views than this, or usually in the first hour, you get way less views than this. Good job. And look for that ranking. It's always on a scale 1 out of 10, 1 being really good. So yes, best of luck. Hopefully that helps. In theory, if a channel makes good quality videos with good thumbnails and titles, would you still say it would take some time before they get traction, or would it blow up from the get-go? It really depends on the topic then. If what you're saying is true, this person, let's say it's you, or you're asking for a friend, whatever it is, you're saying that the channel makes excellent title and thumbnails. They've done their research, their thumbnails are on point, their titles are awesome. It shouldn't take that long if there's interest in the topic. So keep that in mind. The thing you're covering on YouTube needs to have consistent interest. Now, there are seasonal things. There are things that happen, especially in gaming. Sometimes you're playing a game that really thrives on updates, right? So you're waiting on if you play like The Sims, for example, EA releases a new expansion pack for The Sims, I think maybe every 6 months or something like that. So what do you think that trending graph looks like for The Sims? It probably looks like this. It's constantly ebbing and flowing because EA is doing something, the developer of the game is doing something to keep the interest going. So if you hit it while it's low, the interest is like really low, your channel might not grow as quickly. But if you keep going with it and you wait until the interest comes back up, that can definitely happen. I see it's a Lucas Skywalker channel. So let's say you start talking about the new Obi-Wan Kenobi series on Disney Plus. It's not out yet. So right now, there's not a lot of people kind of searching for that content, right? But let's say you're just so excited. You're like, top 10 things I want to see in Obi-Wan Kenobi, like, and you're asking these questions and you're putting them in the form of videos. Like, maybe when you first post those, they're not going to do so well. But your titles are awesome, your thumbnails are awesome, and then Disney posts another trailer. And now people are looking for more info. So it really depends on the topic, in my opinion. All right, we got a bunch of questions, and I'm out of pinned questions. So give me a second. I will drink my coffee. And let's see. Some of these we've covered earlier. So if you don't get your question answered, I do encourage you, if you got here late, to rewatch the stream as well. Let's see here. Some of these questions are downright silly, so I'm going to skip those. Hold on, I got to refresh chat here. Hope you're all doing well. Sorry for the stall here. Some of you are asking such technical questions too, but we've covered some of this. Okay. Couple here. So we got one here. You got 11% click-through rate, and you started 2 weeks ago. Your video got 400 views on the first day, I'm assuming, and it's the only video. Wait, quality video over quantity. So you're posting slowly. So you have one video, got 400 views on the first day, but you're unable to convert your viewers to subscribers. That, I would say, is because you just started. It's really hard to convince people to subscribe. There's been I think there's been studies done about this. I don't have any data on this right now, but it's really hard to convince people to subscribe after having only seen one of your videos. You really need a back catalog, because think of it this way. Someone watches your video, your first one, and they love it, right? But you have 0 other videos. There's no reason to subscribe. There's nothing to subscribe for yet, right? But if you have 4 or 5 videos and they watch the whole thing through, they hit the like button, they give YouTube all these positive signals, like, I really like this content, YouTube. They're like, well, did you know that Mcello has another video? And they pop that. Even if it's an older video, they pop that into their home feed. Since you like Mcello so much, I have more. And they click on that. It's going to take a few of those to finally convince them to subscribe. Don't get too hung up on that. Do your best not to beg for subscribers, especially in the first part of your video. Bring something of value, of interest, and then quickly mention, hey, by the way, don't forget to subscribe. Don't hammer people over the head with it. This will happen naturally, okay? Don't worry too much about subscribers. This is a vanity metric anyway. You don't need to have a bunch of subscribers to get a bunch of views. Worry more about making really high quality, engaging content, and people will hit that button. It will happen naturally over time. Any tips on making my content binge worthy? Yes. Next question. I'm just kidding. Binge worthy content. So a lot of people have done this in terms of like doing a series, right? So if you were to do a series where you were progressing through something, or if you were teaching something, you would do a series where these lessons kind of run concurrently. That might make some bingeable content. Content that's just highly entertaining. Content that is kind of short, right? Like it doesn't take up a lot of people's time, and it's really engaging, really interesting, or funny, or whatever it is. It's likely they will click and watch more. So this is really, the first part of your question is really about quality. The next part of your question, though, is going to be down to the way you try to get people to binge that content. So in the case of this video, we put an end screen to a video. You can see Rob pointing to it. And this is the only thing on our end screen, okay? This one video right here is it for the whole end screen. And what this is doing is giving people no choice when the video ends. A lot of people like to put a lot of elements in their end screen. Give people one choice and make it a video of your choosing. If you go into your recording session prepared and you know exactly what that video is going to be, like Rob did, in this clip, he says, and watch this video next because in it, blah, 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 thing of interest to you. That's why you want to click. But if you just put a random end screen and you don't even address it and people have no idea why they should click on it, that's not going to create a positive like binge session. So we put it in the end screen. Sometimes we put it in the pinned comment as well. And we also put it in our description. So this call to action is in the description. Free views are connected to YouTube's algorithm. Find out how. That's the same video. You can create a binge session by linking your videos together in this way, whether you use end screens, whether you use the description, whatever it might be. So that is how you can get the binge worthiness of your content is its value, and the bingeability of the content is the technical way that you get people to watch the next thing. Welcome back.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I started having to, I ran out of questions, so I started having to read very carefully, and people are asking very, very long questions. They're making me read a lot, which is not fair. Let's see. Someone asked how to get more clickable thumbnails, and actually that video that I just had on the screen is exactly what you want to watch. Which is this video here. Show you exactly how to find this video. It is called How to Beat the YouTube Algorithm in 2022. The thumbnail looks like this. Watch this video. There you go. Yep. All right. Chronic illness advocate, you're very welcome. A lot of questions here. Okay, E-Rides and Explore. We can kind of tackle this one. Do you think making shareable content is the same or better than making searchable content?
That's a good question. Wow. It really depends on what you want to do as a content creator. I mean, no, that's wrong. I guess it really depends on the type of content that you make. If your channel is based on maybe like how-to content or education type content, then chances are you probably want to make it more searchable. But if you're like more of an entertainment type creator, or your content is maybe more opinionated and you're dropping like opinions and different things like that, then you probably want to make it more shareable because you want that content to propagate as much as it can. I think education content is better. It's going to be more searchable and probably should be more searchable on YouTube because I think that's where you'll get your best results. But other than that, you should probably make it more shareable. But then again, you should aim for the best of both worlds, make it searchable and shareable. That's really what that's the holy grail right there. So if you can combine both of those, that's where you're really winning.
It really, I would say, yeah. If you can't, though, it's really kind of a balancing act, right? Like you can do both. You can have a content strategy where every week you make some searchable content, and every week you also have some times of the week where you make the more shareable content that your regular viewers will recognize right away, and they'll click on it straight from the home feed. And it's not necessarily searchable, but it's funny and it's interesting. You know what I mean? So I would say you want to do both because it tackles two different sections of YouTube. It gets people from search who've never heard of you before, and then the other side gets people from the home feed who have seen you before, but maybe they found you from search. And YouTube's like, oh, you like this channel, huh? Well, check it out. Look, they do this other stuff too that's similar, but you weren't looking for it. Check it out. That kind of feeds into this other question I just grabbed, which is, how does YouTube suggest our videos? Is there metrics so that your videos will be suggested to an audience? I'm guessing is what you meant by this question.
Ooh, if we knew this as creators, this would be like the sauce that we all want to know. But there's no metric for it. I mean,
we have a lot of ideas.
Yeah, we have ideas, and you can go into your analytics and see which videos are being suggested and what videos are suggesting them. But as far as how to get your videos suggested, yeah, that's another matter entirely.
YouTube is, think of it this way. YouTube's goal is to get any of you who watch YouTube to stay watching YouTube. They want you to do nothing but watch YouTube. In a perfect world, for the company that is YouTube, you would do nothing but watch this platform. You would stay on it and you would consume ads. You would give out super chats. You would, all of it. You would just be fully immersed and you would be addicted to it 24/7. So that's their goal. And when you think about it that way, you got to think, okay, so YouTube's algorithm is for the viewers, right? YouTube's algorithm is trying to find videos that those viewers are going to love and they're not going to want to put down, right? So that's who it's for. And you, as a creator, are trying to make content for an audience because there's lots of them out there. And you're part of that whole thing, trying to get people to stay on YouTube forever and ever. So that's kind of how YouTube suggests videos. If you want more details, I'm going to also assign you the homework of watching this video, which is how to beat the YouTube algorithm in 2022. Rob just covers so many things in this. And this is why I love pointing to some of our videos, because they dive a lot deeper on things that we don't have a lot of time to like get too deep on right now. But
Watch the video, y'all. Watch the video.
there you go. Let's see. What are your thoughts on reusing content for shorts for normal formatted videos as well, since shorts do not really notify your current subs and mostly are used for new traffic? So, okay, when I first read this, I thought I was understanding. Let me look up something real quick on the back end here.
Content for short, for normal form video content. I mean, if the way I understand it, I'm guessing you're talking about just making short videos that are not technically YouTube short, but just shorter videos. And I would say go for it. I always say on here that your video should only be as long as it needs to be. I have made videos anywhere from like 2 minutes to 7 minutes or longer if need be, but I have made regular non-YouTube short videos that are like 2 minutes. Sometimes they're less than 2 minutes, but because they didn't need to be longer than 2 minutes, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
I think it's about time I revealed this secret. I've been sitting on it for some time, but I'm going to tell all of you this exclusive secret right now. Something you might not know about me is that I like cats. Okay? And so this is a cat channel. It's called That Little Puff, and it's like a cat cooking channel. It's really funny. It's really stupid. You got to check it out. Anyway, it's a shorts channel. They upload on TikTok. They post on YouTube. Millions of views. Great success. Blah blah blah. Aha! But what is this? What are these long form videos? You can't do that. It's a shorts channel. But wait, it is That Little Puff popular compilations. And that's what they're doing to kind of take some of their shorts and repurpose them into long form content, which is, I'm wondering if that might have been what you were kind of getting at. Viper just gives some great advice as well. I'm just wanting to cover this from both angles just in case. You can take your shorts and you can get lots and lots of views from turning them into longer compilations. Now, is this more views than this? No, of course not. Are these monetizable views where an ad played and 281,000 people saw an ad and they, and maybe even interacted with it? You got some AdSense. Yes. These are still worth it. These are still worth the time. So keeping that in mind, you can absolutely take your shorts. And what's great about these is they didn't do anything to change the aspect ratio of the shorts. They didn't make them widescreen. This good enough was good enough. So something to keep in mind. This is a channel that is just killing it right now. And I thought it'd be fun to show that off.
Dan, I'm gonna do your you consume TikTok, correct?
I not as much as I am supposed to be. But sometimes I turn on the app and I look at it. But YouTube is just always the first app I open every day.
There's a TikTok creator that also has a YouTube channel. I think that goes by the same name. You might want to write this down, called 3 Children, Cats, and Mama. I promise you will love their content. I love it. Amazing.
Oh man, I love cats. They're fun. They're good animals, except when they're dumb. Sometimes they do things during your live stream that you don't like.
Or except when they're trying to get Dan's attention when he's on live.
Right. Never get cats. Ugh. So wait a minute. So we're getting a lot of questions today that are like people asking permission for different things they just want to try. Try anything you want to try. We're always about experimenting here, and get back to us. Like this one. This weekend, I plan on test uploading a short every hour for the whole of Saturday. And then at 4:30, posting an actual video. So not a non-short. Is that a good idea? Try it. I think.
Okay.
I think what's going to happen is that all of those shorts are not going to do anything. And at 4:30, you're going to post a video, which also won't do anything. However, each of those shorts could slowly get picked up, and YouTube's going to start testing them out. But I wouldn't I wouldn't say the snowball success is all going to happen in one day.
Okay, you know what? This is where this is where Viper has to step in. There is a such thing, you all, and content overload. Okay, I used to upload a lot of content back in the day, and people told me like, "Yo, Viper, we can't keep up with all the videos that you upload. You're uploading too much content." So that is a thing. So you're talking about uploading a video every hour. That's like 24 videos at that. I mean, I'm not actually crazy enough. There are people that upload more than 24 videos in a day on YouTube, which is just mind blowing to me. But you the thing about it is you want to be respectful of your viewer's time, and there's no way that a viewer has time to watch every video that you put out every hour today. Just
this channel used to upload even more, but this is an example of one of those channels that's
is this the one you did the video on? You were Rob did the video on earlier?
No, I never remember the name of that one, but I think they have a lot of channels, to be honest. This is another one a lot of people have talked about. It's called Steve E. They have about, they're approaching 4 million subscribers, and they post several times a day. I think, like, if you tried to replicate their strategy, like, let's say you understood these memes and you understood all this stuff, like, I think you're going to need to, like, do that. You can't just take one Saturday and do that. You got to do that for several days in a row, right? Like, you got to really, like, feed the beast here. Look at this.
Oh Lord. It's how to go. It's how to log off after this. Lord have mercy.
It was 3 weeks ago. It was trending, It was
Oh my Lord.
at the right time.
Wow. That's Minecraft abuse.
Anyway, it's, you gotta, like, stick to that. I would say, but try it, because all of those shorts could get picked up. It just won't happen right away. And I think at 4:30, when you upload that video, you're just going to be disappointed, And like Viper said, content overload. If you only have enough shorts to post every hour on one day, and then you're not going to be able to replicate that experiment, why not post them once a day instead? And then each one will have a whole day to kind of build up. Then the last day you post the, 4:30 video. That's a long form video. I think that would almost make, I think in the end, maybe no difference except for just your mental health, right? Like you'll feel better that you've been uploading to the channel every single day rather than, doing one big grandiose day, seeing no results come in and going, I don't like this site. I don't like YouTube anymore. Not saying that'll happen. I'm just saying that's the potential here. Don't be surprised. YouTube needs more time with shorts. They just do. Like, shorts usually take several hours, if not days, to find their home on the short shelf. So you're going to need to give it that time, especially when you're new. But it's an interesting question. And I think if you're still passionate about it, you should try it. Just temper your expectations.
Also, what Dan said at the beginning, you all don't need anyone's permission to do stuff with your channel. If you want to experiment with stuff, go experiment to your art content.
Yeah.
We might not think it's a good idea, but that doesn't mean anything. You still got to experiment and get the data for yourself.
The channels that you have are not made of glass. You can do a lot to a YouTube channel and not kill it. Yeah, this term people use sometimes are like, will this kill my channel? Like, will my channel die? Define what do you mean by that? Because no channel, unless you do something to get actually banned, no, your channel will still exist, and you can always reverse course. If you have, what we gave someone way earlier in this live stream, the advice of, they had a video that's blowing up and they don't want to double down on it, but it's bringing in the wrong audience. You can get rid of that video and keep uploading and just keep going. You can totally do that, and your channel won't be dead by any definition.
When you make a YouTube channel, or when you start a YouTube channel, you are the CEO of that channel, which means every decision that happens is under you and decided by you, the creator. No one has to give you permission to do anything with your channel. Like, just do what you want to do and have fun.
Yeah. Found a great question here, but I want to get to that in a little bit. Let's see. It'd almost be a good one to end on. Let's see.
Ooh, should I use a high competition tag or a low competition tag as a smaller creator? You should probably use a low competition tag, because you're not gonna perform as well for a higher competition tag. You got to remember, when we say high competition, we literally mean high competition. So you're going against all those channels with bigger channel authority, bigger sub counts, and they're going to do better for that particular tag than you are because you're a smaller channel. So go for medium or low tag.
I typed in Minecraft. And I mean, the term Minecraft is old now. And the first result is a video from 6 hours ago. And the first results on this page will always be from channels in the millions of subscribers at this point, because it's a competitive tag.
Mm-hmm.
But if you were to type in modded Minecraft Forge 1.18 4 months ago is the first result, and 196,000 subscribers. So less subscribers, older video, Forge mods in Minecraft. We've niched down. The competition score is low. The volume's decent here. This is still people searching for this exact term. So that is why you would want to target a more niche down term. So yes, include Minecraft in your tags, of course, but we're more talking about the keyword string you're using in your title and your description and stuff, right? Like, what's the thing people are going to look for to find your video? So we've niched down to specifically, not just Minecraft mods, not just mods, Forge mods, not just Forge mods, 118 Forge mods, not 112, not 117, 118, the latest version of Minecraft. So that is your lesson of the day on, well, Minecraft. It always comes up. Sorry. We will tackle this question. What's your number one advice for new YouTubers? I'm not asking for myself, just to hear what you guys would say. So someone comes up to you. I'm about to start YouTube. Viper, what do you tell
them? Have fun. But before you can have fun, you have to pick a topic or subject that you are truly, really passionate about. And the reason why I say this is because that topic is a topic that you're going to have to make content on over and over and over again. So you better be really passionate about that particular subject that you pick, because you're going to have to make a lot of content on that in order to grow on the platform. So you have to be having fun making content about that topic, and you better be passionate about it, because you're also going to get kickback from people that think you are wrong or they don't agree with you, and you have to be able to defend yourself when you were talking about that particular topic as well. So just pick a topic that you're passionate about, that you don't mind talking about on a regular basis, and have fun making videos.
I would say that for sure. I would also say you should be better at whatever it is your channel is about than you should be at YouTube itself. That's what you should be. If you're going to have a channel about cooking, you should not be an expert YouTube marketing, major, right? You should be an expert cook. You should be someone who understands what it is you're doing on YouTube first and learn the YouTube stuff second. That's the priority. The priority is your passion. That's what I would tell somebody. Because I'm saying this because we get so many people asking, like, what is a topic I can cover right now that would get a bunch of views? What can I do on YouTube that's going to get a bunch of views? What do you want to do? Because there's so many things. There's so many things. Start with what you love. I love making videos, and it just so happens that the channel I make content on gets to talk about making videos. So those two things meshed perfectly for me. That's not going to be the case for a lot of you watching, though. So if your channel is about gaming, you got to pick a game that you just love this game. You know everything about it, or you don't know anything about it, but you love playing it. You die constantly. You're terrible at it, but you just love it. You have a blast every time you do. Either way, you got to be super, super passionate about it, and worry about the YouTube stuff second. Still hone those skills, but that's why you come here. We don't expect you to know that stuff because you're supposed to be passionate about something else.
Elden Ring. I'm sorry. Had something in my throat.
What?
I said Elden Ring.
Elden Ring. Oh, yes. You die constantly. Yes. I'm like, what do you mean? All right. Okay. I'm still seeing some questions here. Some of these are so long. Some of them I just can't possibly answer. Here we go. YouTube has also said that the watch time. Sorry. I thought it said hashtag question. So we were just talking amongst us. See, you got it. I got to pay attention. You were using the hashtag.
Okay, let's tackle the one real quick. So
Okay.
question goes, when you're comparing somebody to somebody, Kobe versus LeBron, should I have a text box of them saying something to the other one in the thumbnail? No, you don't need a text box. Um, I made a video, I think 2 years ago, where I was comparing headphones. And in the thumbnail, I had on one side, I had me wearing one set of headphones. And on the other side, I had another picture of me kind of invert, but I was wearing the other pair of headphones. So you don't need text. Just having the two people that you're talking about in the thumbnail, like maybe looking at each other, or just having them in a split screen type thumbnail. Oh, you don't need text.
With like verses between them.
Right. Or you can put versions. Yeah.
Or what if you have a really funny idea for two text bubbles above their head, like they're saying something to each other? You could do that too. In that case, there's no wrong answer, right? Like it depends if the text has intent, if there's a reason for it being there. And I would say both of us are right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was the original question. Should you have like the text bubble above them? I mean, you can, but I'm saying is you don't need it.
You don't need it. Like, there's no rules, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Like, you can put it, and if you do, I would just make sure that it's intentional. Like, make it funny. Make people stop scrolling because you're seeing them talk crap about each other in the thumbnail, or get rid of it and have them just standing there looking awesome. And the verses between them tells them everything you need to know. You're going to compare these two iconic players.
Oh, you mean like an insult? Oh, well, yeah, that'd be funny. You could do that, definitely.
Yeah, it depends, because I don't know who the audience is. That's the thing. Like, if you're like a comedy channel, like if you're trying to get a funny twist on it, then absolutely, like, them insulting each other makes sense for that audience. But if you're comparing them from like a more buttoned up professional angle, then maybe you don't want that kind of cheesing up the value of your video.
Dan, I have a question for you.
What?
My question to you is, as you know, we as creators, we get a lot of crazy comments, maybe it be hate comments, troll comments, things that we don't want to see, or things that we might not want to be put on our comment section. So what are some examples, Dan, of words that people should be probably putting in their block word filter in their community section so that they can be protected from unnecessary heat on YouTube?
Well, all the bad ones, first of all. But also, you know what I do is I look at comments, and I'm constantly updating that word filter. Always. Because I think it can be different. Different niches have different issues, right? Because different niches are targeted by different predators who are trying to get you to click links and things like that. First of all, I would hide links in your comments because I just don't honestly think they're needed. You can, if you need people to like link you to different guides or something, use a Discord server, and then you can control that in different ways. But I would turn off links completely because they're usually just nefarious anyway. And then if you're seeing people use words that are getting through, I would be targeting the specific words in your comment section themselves, like stuff you're finding, you know. And then YouTube has a new feature where you can actually, per video, you can turn this on. It's an increased like sensitivity word filter.
Oh, I saw that, yeah.
And I'm still playing with it. Like, I'm still kind of testing to see, but you can go into your settings and you can turn this on for all of your future uploads by going to your upload settings, but increase strictness. Experimental feature. I've turned it on. I haven't seen anything in my held for review section so far that shouldn't be there. But again, they put experiment here, letting you know that stuff will slip through that shouldn't have gone there. But yeah, this will save you some time if you're trying to get your word filter even better. But there's a lot of different like scams and stuff people run with the way they type their text out that gets by these word filters. So sometimes I put symbols in there, you know, just different symbols that I see people commonly using.
Nice. Yeah. Also, I would tell you all, if you haven't already, if you are not using your real name on your channels, you should probably put your real name, your address, your phone number, and all that important stuff in there too.
Oh, in the blocked.
Yeah, in the block section, so people can't dox you.
Yeah. Also a commonly used tip there.
Here's a cool question from Luke Skywalker. What do you love most about YouTube, making videos? I think what I love most is what's happening right now. Making videos on YouTube has allowed me to meet people like you all and interact with you all in real time, whether that be on live streams or reading my video comments, like just meeting like-minded individuals. Because when you make content, especially when you make content for a particular niche or whatever, you're going to meet a lot of like-minded individuals that share the same passions and ideologies with you. And you might feel like you might not get that in your normal life. So coming on YouTube and making that content and connecting with those people, that is the beautiful thing. And that's why I love the creator community so much, because even though we make all types of different content, we still can come together over being creators on YouTube and talking about that experience and how it makes us feel and what we're experiencing with our comments in our community. So just the community aspect and talking to a bunch of like-minded individuals is why I like being on YouTube and making content.
Yeah, same here. I mean, taking something you're passionate about and being able to share it with people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's awesome. We have a couple questions here that I wanted to pull up. I created my channel in 2009, but I didn't start making content until 2019, so 10 years later. And my videos seem to struggle. Regardless of SEO, is my channel being punished for 10 years of zero growth?
You know what? So you might, okay, say it, Viper. It seems like older channels on YouTube have suffered some type of, I don't know what's going to restrict. I don't want to call it restricted, but they're not really favored as much as newer channels are. So depending on how much content you have on that channel and how invested you are, I would consider maybe starting a new channel this year. I think it will perform a lot better for you, but I don't know if Dan has anything to add to that, but that's my opinion.
You could certainly try that. From my experience, I've not seen this shake out. We've actually audited a lot of channels that are old and seen their newer videos. Like you could tell they started uploading, like they were a viewer first, and they started uploading later. And it didn't seem to matter for them. But I have heard people say that, and I don't know if that's like one of those like myths about YouTube or if there's anything to it. I have a channel that's over 10 years old, and I did post to it when I made the channel, but I'm confident that if I relaunched that channel today, that wouldn't stop the channel just because it's old. But I guess I could be wrong, but I've not seen that shake out personally.
Yeah, I don't have any scientific data to back up what I just said, but I have started a new channel this year, and it is performing a lot better than the channel I started back in 2018, which actually started back in 2012 when I was watching YouTube. So, hey, do that information what you will.
You started that channel with like a stronger focus. Like you went into that and you learned so much from that first channel and that first experience, right? So that automatically gives you this head start.
That is true.
That's not fair to your past self. You know what I mean? Like that version of you didn't have what you have now. So that also kind of plays into that too.
A little bit, yes.
But yeah, if you're worried about it and you're starting out now, or you said 2019, you could try it. Like maybe a second channel that you were thinking about trying anyway. Some people have that, right? Like, oh well, I always thought maybe a clips channel or whatever. Just try a brand new channel, see what happens. Again, it's free for you to do that. It costs you a little more time, but could be worth experimenting with if that's what you're worried about.
Experiment, baby. Experimentation.
Yeah. Is it worth having a past live stream unlisted or keep it public? I picked this because I always get like very impassioned about this one. We on this channel don't unlist any of our live streams. And there's no harm in that at all. Like we've noticed zero harm, but there are people who swear that no, that's like the worst thing you can do. So unlisting them is a compromise. And the way it works is you can go to your channel's homepage, and I'm pulling it up where you can't see it. Here we go. And you can make a playlist called past live streams, and you can put it on your homepage, and your regular viewers would know to go there. And so your live streams are still up for them, for the people who want to go and find them. But what they're not doing is muddying your analytics, because people are watching them as if they're regular uploads. So from my own experience and from other channels I've looked at, it doesn't hurt to keep them public. In fact, we've been experimenting with better titles and thumbnails. You'll notice today when I started the live stream, I didn't do a musical countdown intro. I hit go live and I started talking like I was hitting record on a video, because people watch this when it's not live anymore. And I want to make sure if they're going to do that, they're going to get the best experience possible. So I think what you'll find are a lot of impassioned opinions about this. And in my own experience from this channel and personal channels, I've left my streams up and nothing became of the channel itself. It didn't seem to affect the actual channel. But again, that's just my experience. Yeah, I don't know if you wanted to add to that, but
I think you hit the right on the head.
I would say, let's see. So why would anyone want endless live streams? So just to add on to that, basically, when I say it screws up your analytics, it is very annoying. This is something that YouTube, I would love it if they fix this. I'm trying to figure out which one of these it was in. Was it engagement? Okay. So this is one of the analytics that live streams, quote, screw up. YouTubers, we need your help. This keeps your channel demonetized, making money before. So all of these are live streams. Okay. So this is otherwise valuable information because we're looking at above typical intros. So people who were still watching at the 30-second mark. Because it's a live stream, of course it has the best chance of someone watching after the 30-second mark, because that represents such like a small fraction of this video versus a 10-minute video. The first 30 seconds is a large portion of that video.
Yep.
So this kills us. We've been begging YouTube. I've clicked this button, Rob's clicked this button, and we've literally sent them feedback on this. Like, please filter out live streams from this feature, YouTube. It's such good information for regular uploads. But this is why people sometimes remove live streams altogether, because they just don't want stuff like this in their data.
Yep. I mean, it's the reason why I won't even put live streams on my new channel, just because I don't want that. I don't want the analytics to be messed up. I'm not doing it.
Yeah. So I think with that, we should probably call it there. A couple minutes early. We both have stuff going on after today's stream. So thank you all for being here. Thank you for excellent questions. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. We will either have a video going out on Friday, or if not, you can definitely catch us on Monday, and then Tuesday and Wednesday with more live streams as well.
That's right. We will be back next week with all the live streams, all the content, all of the things. And wherever Rob Wilson is, hopefully you are enjoying yourself, sir. You are missed.
All right, everybody. Have a great rest of your day. We will see you next time.